Now remember, in order to solve for a logarithm, we have to have it in this form, base to some exponent equals an amount. But they're not always, they're normally not going to be in that form. 3 times 5 to the 2x minus 3 plus 100 equals 1,000 is certainly not in some sort of form where it's base to an exponent equals 1,000. So we have to do a little bit of equation solving to get it in that form. So I first start with what is out here, not in the exponent, but what's being added or subtracted at the end. We've got to get rid of that first. So if it's being added, we subtract. If it's being subtracted, we add. So we're going to subtract 100 from both sides. Now 1,000 minus 100 is 900. So this is going to become 3 times 5 to the 2x minus 3. That 2x minus 3 is all in the exponent. And that's going to be equal to 900. Next, we have this number out to the left of the equation that's being multiplied, throwing us all off. We have to divide by that number. So we're going to take both sides and divide by it. So if you have a number added or subtracted in, either do the opposite, add or subtract it to get rid of it from the other side. Then if you have a number out front, then you divide that number. And, use your calculator if you need to. 900 divided by 3 is 300. So this is going to be 5 to the 2x minus 3 is equal to 300. Well, now we have it in the form base to the exponent is the amount, right? The base is 5. The exponent is 2x minus 3. All that's your exponent. And then this 300, that's your amount. So now we're ready to throw it into a logarithm, okay? So think about what that means. We have 5 to the 2x minus 3 equals 300. Five to the 2x minus 3 equals 300 can be written as a logarithm. So what we'll do is we'll say log the base of your exponent, that little 5, that's going to go down there in the subscript. The amount that it's equal to actually goes in the parentheses. And then we set it equal to our exponent, which is 2x minus 3. So we have log base 5 of 300 equals 2x minus 3. Log base 5 of 300 can be evaluated, and you want to do that first. So you'll hit LOG, do this with me, LOG, shift minus 5, right arrow, parentheses 300, close parentheses. And you'll see your value, 3.343959. Go out at least 3 or 4 decimal places. So I would say all this is approximately 3.54, we'll say 396. I'm going to go out 5 spots. Then we set that equal to 2x minus 3. Now we're going to solve that equation using traditional algebra. So in this equation, to solve for x, we'd have to add 3 to both sides. 3.54396 plus 3 is going to be 6.54396. Well, those 3's cancel out. And our last step here would be to divide both sides by 2. So 6.54396. I'm going to need my calculator for that. So I'll go into Desmos and I'll type 6.54396 divided by 2. And my answer ends up being approximately 3.27198. Now my final answer, I'm just going to write x equals 3.272. So I'd like to go out 3 decimal places if possible. So one thing that you're going to want to do when you do these problems is you're going to want to check your answer. There's a couple ways to do it. One way is to plug it back into your original equation. In this case, you would type in 3 parentheses. Again, do this with me. 5, raise it to the 2 parentheses, always plug in using parentheses, 3.272, close it up, minus 3. Oops, the minus didn't stay up there. So we actually have to modify this exponent a little bit. So at the beginning of the 2, use parentheses, minus 3. Notice that that minus 3 stayed up there. And then at the end, you could right arrow and press, after you close your parentheses, plus 100. And if you do that correctly, you'll get about 1,000, which is what our goal, which is what it is. It's not exactly the right answer, but again, we rounded our number, so it's close enough. Another way to check your answer is to use a graph. You would do 3, do this with me, parentheses 5, raised to the parentheses 2x minus 3. Got to have that exponent in parentheses if you have multiple things in there. Right arrow, plus 100. And I'm going to make this graph a little bit bigger. And I'm going to press, if I want it to be equal to 1,000, I'm going to do y equals 1,000. Now 1,000 is high, so we have to bring this up. So you can see your graph here. If you go up to there, try to zoom in a little bit, you can see that intersection at 3.272. Recall what our answer was, 3.272. That's what we rounded it to 3 decimal places. Desmos graph intersections will go to 3 decimal places. So you can always get the answer that way, but I really encourage you to use logarithms. To get the answer, because you will need logarithms for a lot of things in your future math classes, as well as have to know how to use them on your tests and your end of course tests. So get in the habit of using this model here, the log.